Welcome to the Hoja on Architecture podcast. The Architecture of Experience, Chapter 7, The Chair Question, Comfort or Icon. In the previous chapter, we explored how movement transforms architecture from a static arrangement into a lived and unfolding experience. We examined how bodies navigate space through rhythm, sequence, effort, and perception, revealing that architecture is encountered not all at once, but gradually through motion. Yet movement inevitably leads to moments of pause. Bodies do not move continuously. They stop, rest, wait, work, observe, and remain still. In this chapter, we will examine one of the most familiar yet conceptually revealing objects within design culture, the chair. More than a simple piece of furniture, the chair exists at the intersection of ergonomics, identity, behavior, and symbolism. It is where architecture becomes intimate, where the body meets design directly and continuously. Buildings surround the body, but chairs receive it. They support weight, shape posture, regulate movement, and determine how long the body can comfortably remain in place. Few designed objects maintain such prolonged and immediate physical contact with human experience. A poorly designed chair can produce discomfort within minutes, while a carefully considered one can almost disappear into the background of bodily awareness. Because of this intimacy, the chair has long occupied a central position within ergonomic thinking. It is often treated as one of the clearest examples of design responding directly to bodily needs. At the same time, the chair is never merely ergonomic. Throughout the history of design, chairs have also functioned as cultural statements. They communicate authority, status, taste, ideology, and identity. Thrones, office chairs, dining chairs, classroom chairs, waiting room chairs, each establishes not only a way of sitting, but also a social relationship between body and environment. The chair, therefore, operates simultaneously as a physical support and as a symbolic object. This dual role has profoundly shaped modern design culture. The 20th century, particularly during the rise of modernism, transformed the chair into something close to a manifesto. Designers began using chairs to express ideas about technology, industry, efficiency, and the future of living. Materials such as tubular steel, molded plywood, and leather became symbols of modernity itself. Iconic chairs emerged not simply as practical solutions, but as visual declarations of a new design philosophy. In many cases, the image of comfort became just as important as comfort itself. This distinction matters because some of the most celebrated chairs in design history are not necessarily famous for how they feel. They became iconic because they represented progress, refinement, innovation, or cultural sophistication. Their importance often lies less in bodily experience than in visual identity. To own or display certain chairs became a way of participating in a particular design culture, signaling knowledge, taste, and alignment with modern ideals. The chair therefore shifted from being purely functional into something closer to a cultural symbol. This raises an uncomfortable but important question. Is a chair designed for the body or for the image of the body? The answer is rarely simple. Many modernist chairs appear ergonomic through their proportions and elegance, while simultaneously prioritizing visual clarity over prolonged comfort. Others intentionally discipline posture, encouraging the body to sit in controlled and correct ways. In such cases, discomfort is not necessarily a failure of design, but sometimes part of its logic. The chair becomes a tool through which behavior is subtly regulated. This relationship between posture and behavior reveals that sitting is never neutral. Different chairs produce different bodily conditions and, consequently, different forms of social interaction. A lounge chair encourages relaxation and duration. A classroom chair promotes attentiveness and restriction. A waiting room chair is often intentionally designed to prevent complete comfort, discouraging prolonged occupation. Even the arrangement of seating shapes interaction, determining who faces whom, who controls visibility, and who occupies positions of authority. The office chair offers a particularly revealing example. It appears highly ergonomic, adjustable, supportive, and technically optimized for prolonged sitting. Yet its existence also reflects broader changes in labor and productivity. The office chair is not simply designed to support the body, it is designed to sustain work. Comfort becomes linked to efficiency, concentration, and economic performance. Ergonomics, in this context, is no longer only about well-being, but also about maintaining productive systems. The body is supported so that it can continue functioning within institutional structures. This demonstrates that ergonomic design is never entirely separate from ideology. Every chair contains assumptions regarding how bodies should behave. Some encourage discipline and focus, others relaxation and informality. Some elevate the sitter physically and symbolically, while others minimize presence and authority. Even luxury seating often communicates exclusivity through scale, material, and posture. The chair, therefore, becomes a microcosm of architecture itself, revealing how design simultaneously supports and directs human behavior. At the same time, the relationship between sitting and the body has become increasingly complex within contemporary life. Many people now spend extraordinary amounts of time seated, often in front of screens and within highly controlled environments. Concerns surrounding posture, spinal health, sedentary lifestyles, and workplace well-being have considerably intensified ergonomic discussions. The body that once moved frequently through labor and public life now often remains stationary for prolonged periods. In response, design continuously attempts to optimize sitting through increasingly sophisticated ergonomic systems. Yet this optimization introduces another paradox. The more design attempts to perfect sitting, the more it reveals that prolonged sitting itself may be problematic. Even the most advanced ergonomic chair cannot entirely resolve the tension between bodily movement and bodily stillness. Human bodies are not designed for complete immobility. They shift, adjust, stretch, and reposition constantly. Comfort itself becomes dynamic rather than fixed. A posture that feels comfortable initially may become exhausting over time. This suggests that ergonomics cannot simply be reduced to finding the perfect static position. The chair, therefore, exposes a deeper contradiction within modern design thinking. Architecture and product design often seek stability, control, and optimization, yet the body remains fluid and adaptive. The body resists remaining fixed within singular conditions. It requires variation, movement, and change. In this sense, the most ergonomic condition may not be perfect stillness, but the ability to move freely between different bodily states. Comfort emerges not through immobility, but through adaptability. This perspective shifts how we understand ergonomic objects more broadly. A successful chair may not force the body into an ideal posture, but rather accommodate variability and allow continual adjustment. Design becomes less about imposing correctness and more about supporting dynamic interaction. The body is no longer treated as a passive object receiving support, but as an active participant continuously negotiating comfort and movement. Importantly, the chair also reminds us that design operates emotionally as well as physically. People develop attachments to particular chairs not only because they are comfortable, but because they carry memories, routines, and symbolic meanings. A chair can represent authority, hospitality, solitude, productivity, or domestic familiarity. The experience of sitting, therefore, exceeds pure ergonomics. It becomes psychological, social, and cultural at the same time. In this chapter, we have explored how the chair functions as both an ergonomic object and a cultural icon, revealing tensions among bodily comfort, visual identity, and behavioral control. We have seen that sitting is never simply passive, that posture shapes interaction, and that design often regulates bodies through seemingly ordinary objects. More importantly, we have begun to understand that ergonomics is never only about physical support. It is also about the values, expectations, and ideologies embedded within design itself. In the next chapter, we will move beyond the chair and examine a broader question at the center of ergonomic thinking. Should design adapt to human behavior, or should humans adapt to design systems? We will explore how architecture, products, and environments continuously negotiate this relationship through discipline, convenience, and expectation. The discussion will shift from posture to behavior, from sitting to systems. Because once design begins shaping the body, the next question becomes unavoidable. Who is adapting to whom? This concludes Chapter 7 of The Architecture of Experience. The chair question: comfort or icon? Thanks for listening. See you in the next episode.